All right. At this point in the series, we have now covered the first 6 chapters, which means that we have completed our overview or flip through of Book 1 of Wraith 20th Anniversary Edition. Book 1 basically lays the groundwork. It provides the foundation for what it is to be a player of Wraith, including the storyteller. So, what is it that we have learned about Wraith? We've learned about the atmosphere that can be achieved with the game. We've learned different ways to move toward achieving it, and we've been warned of some of the specific problems which can arise from this type of roleplay with this type of subject matter. All right. As a system, Wraith 20th Anniversary Edition is, of course, using D10s and variable difficulty, standard difficulty, normal difficulty. The difficulty that you can expect to roll will be 6 on a D10. But ones subtract successes. And if you happen to roll and roll no successes, but do roll ones, optionally, which is interesting, optionally, this could be interpreted as a botch, a worse failure than failure, but one which, in the spirit of the game, is supposed to be narratively interesting. Imagine a character had an actual 10-die pool, and imagine they had rolled this set of 10 dice for Wraith. What number of successes would they have gotten? Well, assuming that the target number was 6, that the difficulty number was 6, look at what we've rolled. 7, 9, a 10, another 7, oops, another 9, another 10, and a 1. Right. So the 1 would take away one of our successes, leaving us with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus we get to re-roll the 2 10s, getting 2 more 10s. So, what kind of game, then, is this? What kind of feel will this produce? How often will the dice produce failure, snatching it from the claws of success, so to speak? Well, that's on you. Have you read and understood how the skills are created? Have you read and understood the automatic success rule? Are you calling for rolls at the right time with the right difficulty? These are important questions. When you call for rolls and when you interpret results, does it make sense how to interpret the numbers of successes gained? Does it make sense how to make a botch narratively interesting as failure rather than purely punitive or embarrassing? Wraith can be a very serious game, but thinking about our own real lives, we should remember that in the face of some serious or painful topics, resorting to kind of grim humor is a very human quality, one which is unlikely to vanish just because of crossing through the shroud. And so the game doesn't have to be depressing. The game can be as uplifting as any of our other struggles in the worlds of darkness, as monsters in the shadows looking out at the light. Now, the distance from the shadows in which a wraith will dwell is substantially farther, but no more permanent than the conditions of the other monsters played in the series of games. And so, how well does Book 1 accomplish this task, making us aware of how to play, making us aware of what we're playing, making us understand the different ways we might be able to play it, and most importantly, making us want to play it? Well, I've always wanted to play this game since first hearing of it, so I'm probably not the one to answer that question. I want to play the game. My bias pulls me in that direction, and I focus in on all the good, and I struggle with the flawed bits of execution. When I look at the introduction, there's nothing in there that I think would, if I were to read the whole thing, feel much confidence for this game. But if I just read part of it, then I'm definitely going to have some dramatic turns of phrase that lets me know I'm playing one of the Restless Dead. So, okay, in this modern world of skimming, not deep reading, and in this, PDF linked world of jumping to the topics of interest quickly, I'm not sure that the introduction is going to do harm. The setting chapter, if people read that I think is going to hook an awful lot of people. It's fantastic. When we move into the system and we move into how characters are created, anybody familiar with the World of Darkness should be able to move through this quite easily, and anybody new to the World of Darkness, just like when it was introduced, should be able to move through it quite easily. It presents itself clearly. It's easy to make a character. It asks something of you. It asks you to create a character that matters, and that might be a challenge. But why not challenge yourself? Wraith is an incredible game. So as we move into Book 2, as we get into advice for how to manage the game as the player who takes on the role of storyteller, and as we get into more of the dramatic systems and how the system is expected to be applied mechanically, we'll see how well the game can keep our attention and make us believe that we can play the Restless Dead on the other side of the shroud.